5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everyone. Hi. How are you today? We are at the evening session, and this is the Global Empowerment Summit. This is the 6th week of being online, almost 300 sessions already. So I'm really happy to have someone special close to my heart here in the studio. And we met last year, and ever since I'm following all the activities that Olga and the team is doing, and it's just amazing. They are bringing together humankind for a very specific reason that is pushing us to be aware. Hi, Olga. How are you today? How's everything?
Good. Thank you so much. I know it's evening your time, but it's still morning my time in the United States.
Yes, we can have my sleeping tea and your wake up coffee.
Yes. But
So
thank you
before
so
we
much for having me. Yes. And I want to thank you for putting this together for all of us to really come together and understand that we are so united and anything we want to do, we can accomplish. And you're a perfect example of it, just bringing us all together as humanity. So thank you.
But thank you for being on board. I mean, that's what it means. Means the thing what we are doing, right? For people to bring people together, but it cannot happen if the people don't come on board. So that's the first step. That all the 200 of you said yes to my challenge, and that you are on board. So thank you very much. So let's start this conversation, but with you. Let's get to know you a little bit better. You are in New York, right?
I'm actually in Detroit, Michigan. But I am in the same time zone. I am in New York time zone, and I am a mother of 2 kids, a wife, and I am a business owner. I do branding and websites as my main business, but then I also volunteer for a project, Creative Society, and it's an international project that brings people together in order to build a society of our dreams and finally put human life as number one priority.
That just sounds so nice, and I want to talk more about this part. But before we get there, how can you balance this out? Because as I see you, it's like kind of like slowly taking over your life, your passion. Just like for me, it's just slowly getting into the door and knocking. Like, I'm here. I want you to care about me. So how do you balance this out?
So it's really is about priority. Well, first of all, I don't watch TV. I don't have time for TV. So that goes. And that frees up a lot of time and takes all the negativity out of my life. So no TV. I really do plan my day as I know I have projects I have to work on. And then I structure my day where I run and pick up my kids or take them to activities. And then at nighttime, I get to either work or volunteer or do something. But I think like it's an inner desire to really live in a world that everybody benefits. Like we can't live in a world that's like I'll dream about it, it's my perfect world and I live in it. That doesn't work this way. We all have to understand that we as individuals have personal responsibility to build the world we all want to live in. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel loved. We all want to have mutual respect, understanding. We all want to have friends around the globe. But what we see is maybe a little bit on the opposite side where we are so separated and we have so many, negative ideas and things about other people or ideas or companies without even knowing who they are or even exploring. So that's why it's so important to take this active position in life and really come together and build a society, because no one else is going to do it for us, like no one else. And we know this because we look at, even like if some people say, I'm just going to vote for someone and someone is going to do something for me. But historically, unfortunately, we live in a system of consumerism and system that consumes people, consumes products, consumes ideas. And unfortunately, that system does not allow a politician or someone in power to help us, but it actually puts them at disadvantage, where they are stuck in a system where they have to not serve us, but kind of take power over us. And I think we are globally at the point where we are ready to make our own decisions that benefit not just a few people, but everyone. And those few people included as well. We include everybody.
And you have a specific, I don't know how to call it. This is an association, or it's
Yes.
what is the name, or what is the formula that?
Yeah, so definitely. So the project I volunteer for, it's called Creative Society, and you can visit creativesociety.com to learn more. But basically, what makes Creative Society different from any other movement or organization is because it is run by volunteers from over 180 different countries. We do not have any paid positions. We do not accept any donations. Everything is done for people, by people. No one is pointing fingers and telling us what to do. And we really understand where we can use our own abilities and talents, time, to benefit the society. And the main goal of this creative society is basically build a society that puts human life as number one priority, because we live in the society where, unfortunately, profits always will rule over human life. And we see that it is a dead end format, because in this format we currently live in, that's why we don't have internet in Africa. That's why we don't have water, clean water around the globe. That's why we have people or kids going hungry and dying every single day from starvation. That's why we have human trafficking. That's why we have sex slavery. That's why we have all of that, because we no longer treat people as people. We treat people as animals, and we become disposable. But I know this does not sit well with me, and I know my kids and my family and my friends, everybody wants to live to the best of the human potential. And how do we get there? We have to just drop what's not working for us and build a society of our dreams.
And I know I'm trying to scroll on the website, and I just saw that you got like a blessing, right, from the Pope. Actually, Pope Francis.
So
You
that was
got
very
an
nice of
apostolic
you.
blessing.
Yeah, so we are, as organization, we're outside of politics and religion, but we do have people from many religious backgrounds and even political parties that are participating. This project is for everyone, like every single person walking on this planet. And yes, we have reached out to the Pope and he gave us his blessings. I don't know how it works, but someone took an action and reached out to him. And even Pope understands now and speaks a lot about environmental crisis we are in and climatic crisis we are in. And everyone, if we were talking about uniting people 10 years ago, it's finally catching up. And everyone, from politicians to popes to any other leaders or communities or even celebrities, are talking now about, let's come together, let's unite. Something is wrong with the world that we have built ourselves, so we have to fix it.
So I see that you will have a big event coming on the 4th of December. So let's just talk a little bit about that, and after that we will go to get to know a little bit more the Creative Society.
Yeah,
First, let's talk
definitely.
about the event.
Yeah, so the event is going to be on December 4th, and it's going to be online, so everybody can tune in and watch. What's so special about this event is actually it brings all the scientific community, it brings the people from all walks of life, and everyone who is indifferent about environment and climate together, so we can voice the truth and know what really is happening to our planet. Because once we know what really situation we put ourselves in, we can fix it. But if we live in the denial or with the lies or with, just knowing what is happening to our own home, we can't clean it up. We can't fix it. We cannot put a new roof on it. We cannot replace the foundation because we don't know the problem exists. And this conference will be simultaneously translated to over 100 languages. So I don't know if you know 100 languages. I definitely don't. I maybe know 5 that I can say, like, English, Spanish, all of that, but 100 languages, all by volunteers. And it really is the biggest historic event that is put together by people, for people, in order for us to come together and survive any upcoming global cataclysms or anything we will face in the future together as one human family.
Beautiful purpose. I really appreciate what you do, and I know that it's a lot of work. I already can see that it's a lot of work to
It
organize
is a
something
lot of
like
work,
this.
yes, and we are
I
30 days away.
and you have to really harmonize all the people, all the translators, and all the technicalities. But I'm sure that you will solve it. You did it in the past
And you know what,
already.
Andrea, it's very easy to synchronize because we work towards one goal of building a creative society. We don't have, like the United Nations, they have 17 goals, right? I mean, 17 goals are nice, but like even for me as a human being, I can't even like I say I'm gonna work out and I don't, and that was one goal I had to do. So like we cannot spread our attention very thin. We really have to get to the root cause of the problem and really understand that we have to unite under one idea of building a society that will benefit each of us individually, and this will allow us for the most peaceful transformation of humankind so we can become civilization. And we can, because actually civilization is defined as unity of people, and as you can see now, we don't have that. So how do we get there is because we focus on just one goal, and that's how it's so easy, because I can be speaking to a person in Netherlands and then India and then Singapore, and we just talk like we're best friends because we know we are united under one idea and we are working towards just one goal of building a creative society.
And you have foundations. You have the 8 foundation. I remember you were talking about this last year, and also this year at the conversation when we were talking about impact economies. Can you repeat the 8 foundations so that everyone can know it and remember
Yeah,
it?
definitely. So on the website, you can go and you will see the 8 foundations. You go, I think, about us, and then there's 8 foundations over on the first page. But a little bit history about how those 8 foundations came on is because volunteers went out and took interviews and social surveys, and we met people on the streets, and we set up interviews, all kinds of surveys, just to ask people what type of world you would like to live in.
I
And
think that's how we met.
yes. So you answered that as well. You wanted to live in happiness and peace. Yes, and that's how we know, because every time we ask this question, we get exactly same answer from people, no matter what social status, no matter what age, no matter where they coming from, where they live, have they traveled, have they not. Everybody just wants to be, at the end of the day, happy. So we took those millions of answers and we said, okay, so let's combine them into that foundation, and that will become a request of people for the society that we love to live in. It is not an ideal society, but it's definitely a transition from the consumer society to the creative society, and then for the creative society we can build an ideal society, but we need to have this bridge, and creative society serves as that bridge. And the 8 foundations of the creative society, well, I'm going to go fast through them because let me see, because people can read about them on the website. But number 1 is human life. So it's so important to put human life first, because if you even think about it, once you put human life first, we no longer have hunger. We no longer have medical problems. We no longer have wars. We no longer have starving, people. We no longer have problems where people are dying because they don't have a basic need, or all of that. So human life kind of is like the one that solves many global, local, and personal problems. And the second one is human freedom. And it just basically means no matter where your body was born, you still have the same freedoms to enjoy the life. You still have the same chances, and you still are able to express yourself and really benefit the society with all the actions that you take. And then human safety is obviously, it's very necessary for us to have the human safety so we can become people we meant to be. Because if we feel safe, then we are unstoppable. We are really unstoppable when we feel safe, when we feel that we know that we have food on the table, when we have a house, when we have education, when we have health care, when there is no one to rob you, no one to steal something from you, because everyone has everything and everyone is willing to share and help each other and really give instead of just keep receiving like what we do right now. And number 4 is transparency and openness of information for all. And that just means everyone receives truthful information, honest information that we can make decisions on to benefit our lives. And we know right now it's very hard to make a educated decision, even if you know what you're talking about or if you've done your research. There is always some type of information that's a special interest, and it's not really the truth that we need to know in order to make that decision. And the creative ideology is just living in a world where we no longer see violence as a norm. We no longer turn on TV and see blood everywhere. Like, that's not good. Like, this is not serving us, right? But if someone likes that type of stuff and they like to see that, they still can. It's just not going to be promoted as much. There'll be like a specific channel of like, hey, you go see this, you know, you like to see the horror movies, this is the channel for you. But the horror movies are not going to exist on billboards. They're not going to be promoting, you know, all kinds of things that are socially unacceptable. And we as people will decide what that is. So we as people will decide what type of creative ideology we should all live by and what human values need to prevail in us in order for us to remain in a creative society and never roll back to the consumer society. And then the number 6 is development of personality. So everyone has a way of develop themselves, and everyone has ability to do what they want with their life and really strive towards any goals they have in life. Justice and equality means that all natural resources are distributed to everybody, so it's all equal, and we all can figure out our transportation system, we all can figure out all the logistics and everything, and everybody gets everything, and everybody knows that there's stable prices for everything. Everybody knows that you're just secure in the way you live and you don't have to be in the survival mode anymore. And self-governing society is a society where you and me make decisions about what benefits us. So we vote for things that matter to us. We understand things. So if a bill is proposed or if there is some kind of governmental something we are voting on, we will know exactly what we're voting out, how it's going to benefit us, and why it's being proposed. Versus like right now, I know in United States, there's so many bills that are being accepted behind our backs, and I don't know what they are. I never will see them, but somehow, somewhere, they will affect my life, but without me knowing that they're being passed or denied or taken care of. I don't know what it is. So self-governing society is a society that takes personal responsibility for the society as a whole, and we act as one unit, and every decision we make benefits us, our families, and our friends, and everyone around us.
That's a beautiful, beautiful foundation for a nice society, a nice bridge, as you said, into a new way of living. And the way everyone is saying that the world is shifting towards impact economies. Hopefully, one of them will become a reality. Hopefully, creative society will be the one that is the one that people want, and that is coming to a realization. So who was the ideal, how did it start? For me, that was always the question, because I know that now with every country you have everyone all around the world, and you have already made a lot of events, you made your researches, but who started it? Who was the I
was,
try to call
yeah, it
it
was
the
actually
net.
very interesting how it started and how it progressed and how big it became. And like people around the globe will know about the Creative Society, whether it's today or tomorrow. It's on us to share this idea so we understand that we have a decision to make and we have to decide between the two. Obviously, you always have to decide between the two. But if you don't know what you decide in between, then you cannot make a decision. And that's why right now we are at the informational stage and we're sharing this information. But how it started, it's very interesting because about 10 years ago, it started in Ukraine. Um, Group of people got a hold of the book. It was called Allatra, and it's called still Allatra now. And on the last 80 pages of the book, or I won't even call it a book, it's like more encyclopedia of life. It like kind of tells you the history, the physics, the who is a human being, why are we here, right? How history has been working against us and all of that. And at the end of the book, on the last 80 pages, it actually talks about building a society that is, it wasn't called Creative Society, it was some kind of other society. But many people got inspired by this concept of the society that is human centric and benefits everybody. So like a couple people got excited and then they told other people, and it kind of grew into this understanding of, yes, it is possible if we continue to share it without any special interest, without anything, just people to people, humans to humans. And that's how it grew. And then, projects were born where we started to interview people, and projects were born where we did Universal Grain Project, where we studied all the mainstream religions, and we found out that the two main grains of knowledge that unite people is that God is one and God is love. So, and after that, we thought to ourselves, okay, but why is there so much separation even at the religion level, even though we are outside of politics and religion? But it was interesting to study how those work and why do we separate each other, and why is this church on the left corner is much better and will guide you to God better and faster than the church on the left corner. Like, why is this happening? And that's how we got down to the root cause. And the root cause is a consumer society where unfortunately everything needs to be, all the bills needs to be paid for. So when your focus is not helping people, for example, if you're a religious leader, to guide them to God, then you have to still pay your bills, you still have to collect money, you still, like, you focus on other things in a consumer society that does not allow you to help people and really express yourself and, guide people towards the light. And that's why once we understood this and we got to the root cause of the consumeristic society, then we really understood that we have to spread this information. And I have been a volunteer for about 3 to 4 years now, and some people been longer and some people are just joining. And there is no sign up form, so you just decide for yourself, I'm going to support Creative Society because I know we have to get rid of the root cause of the problem. We have to switch the format in the way we live in order to start building new, in order for science to benefit us, in order for medicine to benefit us instead of profit on top of us. So that's why it all started just from regular people that took action, and now it grew. We don't take count. We don't know how many people they are, but what I know is I have been on Zoom calls, and we have about 2,000-3,000 people on Zoom calls, and that's just on one language in English, but there is other languages in other, like, Zoom rooms and what's not. So it's big, but again, no one telling you what to do. No one everybody's holding your hand if you're ready. If you're not, then it's impossible to build a creative society if someone says, you know what, no, I'm not going to do it. We as society, we have to know that we only can make the change together. It cannot be against anyone's will. It cannot be against anyone's ideas. So that's why this is such a universal concept that everybody can relate and understand and really get behind. And for themselves, like, people have to make decisions. Like, no one is making you do that. You have to make a decision for yourself of what kind of world do I want to live in. And knowing that we have those environmental and climatic problems that we have created. Environmental we have created, climatic is a cyclicity, but at the same time, we can't survive, we can't clean our house unless we are united.
I would like to ask also one question. Like a lot of people would say, "All right, that's beautiful," and also Sinfong here in the comments is asking like, "Is it an utopia? Is it too idealistic? Is it possible?" What would you say to people who are like questioning? Because if anything could be perfect, then it would be perfect, right? So how can we go to this new world? How can we really correct everyone's behavior? How can we not focus on power and all that and all this?
Yeah. So I know people say like utopia, but then people don't realize that utopia means something that's like impossible. And what's impossible is actually the way we live right now. So right now we live in utopia because it's really is the world that's like drowning us. It's really the world that we support every single day with our thoughts, actions, and inactions. And really the world of hate, the world of separation, the world of this is for me, give me this, give me that. This is totally utopia. And the world I'm talking about is the world where we don't have to convince anyone, when it's natural for you to understand that your human life is number one priority. And this project does have 3 stages. So right now we are at the informational stage, which means like every single person around the globe needs to know about creative society and needs to make a decision of, I would love to live in a creative society because I really would like to value my life and life of my kids and everybody around me. And then the second stage is the stage where it's a political stage. So again, we are outside of politics and religion, but we have to use the systems that are currently in place to help us get to the creative society. So the second stage would be electing officials that represent us on 8 foundations of the creative society, and they have to promise us to include them into our country's constitutions or any other legal documents. I'm not really familiar who has what, but and we have to have such systems in place where if he or she does not represent us on what she promised, which is a creative society, then we have ability to say goodbye, we need someone else who will. Because right now, like in United States, we have this saying that says we the people. But at the end of the day, if we the people wanted to recall someone, we don't have tools to do that. It only looks nice on a paper, but it's not functional in a real life. And that's why we hope for someone else and someone else and someone else. And we wait those 4 years, 6 years, whatever the term is. But historically speaking, our life has gotten more stressful. It has gotten more, more unknown. We don't know what future holds. Everyone is living in fear. And it's just not fair to us as human beings. And we know we can do better. And we know that utopia, or whatever the word is what we have right now. That's like actually drowning us in the fear of what tomorrow will bring. But creative society is an opposite. It's actually a world where we all are happy and work together, and we look at each other as friends. We don't look at each other as enemies, and we don't tell each other, you're different, or you're this, or you that, or you speak different language. It doesn't matter. You're a human being with a capital H, and that's all it matters.
Do you do regular events like yearly, besides the big conferences? Do you meet up with the people?
Yes, definitely. So we do everything, like whatever we think of, we are very creative. So whatever we think of, we do. So if we think we need to host a round table, we will invite people and bring together for round table discussion. If we think that we can do a Zoom call, like for example, right now we do, and every Friday we do a quick Zoom call or chat with volunteers, and we tell more about creative society and why we spend our time and attention into it and how important it is to build this world. So we definitely have other ways to stay in contact. We are all on social medias, we all on Telegram channels. Like we use all the technology we have right now to unite the world and just be an example of what's possible.
That's a beautiful work. So you have young volunteers, you have different generations together, right?
We have everybody. Even like the last conference, I remember there was like 75 or 85-year-old grandma that was doing simultaneous translation into her native language. And she never used like iPad before, and she never used like a phone before. And she had her son or grandson come over and set it up for her. And she did 11 hours of simultaneous interpretation. And she said, I could have done 11 hours more, because she got so inspired by the information that we share, because information we share is really life-saving. It's life-saving for us, like it's life-saving for the whole humanity. And it's really is beautiful to see all kinds of ages come together, because sometimes we are on the call and someone says, oh, I'm going to post the reel, and someone is like, I don't know what the reel is, like I just got my phone or flip phone or something, like, there's always that. But we use it all, and everyone like has the inner desire to help. And the best thing about being human being, that we can learn and we can teach others, and we can always improve our skills or keep up with the technology as it's happening to us.
And if you would say, what did it bring to your life? Like, what changed in your life since you joined the society and since you are working on this in your free time?
Yeah, so it's definitely helped me understand what role I play in the society, because I was just sitting and thinking, who am I? Just this little person. Let them, the the invisible them, decide of what the world would look like. And it's really been, for me, it's been eye-opening, and I really enjoy becoming a new person I am every single day, because of the conversations like we're having today. And it's really is like allowing me to open up my own mind and to see everyone as friend, because I am able to jump on the calls and talk to someone from Malaysia, and then I jump on the calls and it's India, Bangladesh, it's New Zealand, it's like it's all different countries, and everyone wants to live in a better world, and everyone wants to start something, but they don't know where to start, because so long we have been doing basically just band-aids. Because if you think about it, if we have a problem, we just pour money into it, we solve the problem, but the problem will always come back, because the format of the society that created that problem is still there. And it's discouraging to people, because you think like, I can really help people in a moment, but in the long run we cannot help ourselves, because money will run out, resources will run out, but the problems of consumer format that created them will remain. And that's why it's so important to just knock that down. We don't have to fix anything. We don't, like, it's broken, it's rotten, it's falling apart. We just move on and say, okay, thank you, 6,000 years of that is done. We are ready to build a society of our dreams. We're going to build new, and we all going to act together as a global community and make decisions that benefit us. And if they don't benefit us, then we'll have to find out who is trying to roll us back into that society, because we now have openness, transparency. We know exactly who is proposing what for what reason. And it's just, for me, like personally, like I really like developed myself as a human being, and I'm still like developing myself every single day, and I'm really allowing myself to just be, right? So not pretend to be, but really be myself, and not think of, oh, what other people gonna think of me if I say that. Like before, I mean, we all do that, like, we always think like, oh, what others are gonna think. I don't care anymore, because if we don't live in a creative society, we're all gonna be dead. And who is going to care that? No one. So, like, let's just build the world where we can live, we can thrive, we can finally be at peace. We don't, dream of peace, but we actually are peace, and it starts with us. Like, once you're at peace with yourself, once you understand that the only way out is to really change yourself for a better version of you, And if people don't want to do it, it's fine too. Like if you're stuck in your own ways, it's okay. Just your decisions cannot affect a decision that is beneficial for society. So if you say, hey, I just want to lay on the couch and not do anything, please do. That's going to help us. But if you say, I'm going to go and like, break something and steal something, well, that's not going to work because we don't live in a consumer society anymore. We live in a creative society.
Yeah, that's something that is worth to check on. And Symphony is also saying that sounds fantastic, worthwhile for me to pursue further. So he will check on that. You have the links in the comments already. And at the end of the conversation, while I was inviting you again and while I'm keeping you first, this is just a beautiful, beautiful cause that you are having, and you are doing so much work. And I really appreciate the way how you put all this together with your team and with all the people together in the creative society that is on the way to be born. And the second thing is that you're also raising awareness about the climate problems. And next year at the Global Summit, we will also focus on sustainability in all areas of life, being it human sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. So you are raising awareness this year about the climatic disasters, and your conference will also focus around this topic, right? Why did you choose this one, and why this year?
Well, it really is become apparent to us because we, as volunteers, we pay attention to every single climatic event that's happening around the globe. And we used to report on it once a week or like once a month or something like that. We'll just have like a TV program that reports on all the climatic events that happen around the globe. And then in the past few years, once a month was not enough. We start repeating doing this once a week. And then we realized that we could now do it every single day because there's every single day a tornado is happening, there is a mudslide, there is people that are being killed, there is a volcano erupting. And the sad part is our planet is falling apart. And that's why we are focusing on human life. At the end of the day, it's human life that matters. And we talk to scientists around the globe. And unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, some of them are very honest and they say to us, we are paid to talk about CO2. Even though we know the real problem, we can't talk to you about that. CO2 is a big problem. Obviously, it's an environmental problem. But what we're talking about when it comes to climate is actually it's a cycle. And we know it's a cycle because we have studied as independent researchers. We have other researchers that come on board and say, yes, that's what's happening. We have many and many open and kind-hearted researchers that are ready to voice the truth. And the truth is that climate changes go through 12,000 year cycle. So the 12,000 year cycle is us, unfortunately. And the reason we are here because we're chosen. We're chosen to build a society that can predict everything and save human lives. But we can't do it just now because we're still stuck in the mud of consumer society where science is competing with each other instead of telling us, you know what, there's going to be a volcano eruption. Let's evacuate thousands and thousands of people. Let's move them to the beautiful country of whatever, Canada or whatever country is going to be an accepting country. And let's save the humankind. Let them adjust in the new country. Then when it's all good, we're going to rebuild, move them back. Like, let's do that. That would be like the most human way to do it. Instead of right now, we talk to scientists that say we go to governments and we tell them something is going to erupt. There's going to be a huge earthquake. Lives are going to be lost. And the government tells us, stop talking about this, scaring people away. We don't have a solution for it. And if volcano erupts, it's going to cost us so much less to buy coffins than it is to move them somewhere. And if it erupts and lava goes into the ocean, well, we don't have to buy coffins. Problem solved. But is it really problem solved? Or is it human life that's being lost? Even like one human life lost that still means we live in a creative we still live in a consumer society. If even one human life is lost due to something we could have predicted, something where all the scientific community can come together and bring all their potential together and really determine when is the next event going to happen. How are we going to build the houses that they can withstand the earthquake? How are we going to do things that are a little bit different because we see that the way we build or the way we live or the way things are is not sustainable. It's still affected by hurricanes, it's affected by floods, it's affected by this and that, and we don't even have a plan for recovery. So I know, like in Germany, they had this humongous flood they didn't expect, and they were telling us, like, really, like, I would never think that Germany would have disaster this big. We always think like little small countries, third world countries, they will, but never us. And I think we are getting to the point where every single person understands that at some point he or she will be affected by climatic changes that are happening, and also we are being affected by environmental damage we have done. Our air is depleting. We have like things that are like we've taken too much forest out, and now instead of forest producing producing what it needs to produce, it's like producing CO2 or something like that. There's things that are changing even from the perspective of science in our environment that affects our human bodies. It affects the way we think, affects the way we act. So we need to know the truth. We need to work together towards common goal of understanding all the disasters that are happening on the planet are there for us to unite. They're not there for us to die. They're there for us to come together and finally figure it out, because environment and climate can give us this one goal of solving, or one problem of solving together. And that'll be a perfect example of a creative society, because you have to solve it as a global community.
That's also something that is worth it. You gave so much food for thought. So Simfung is like already making a joke that AI is coming for a rescue. Well, let's hope that, maybe they use it for a good cause. Let's say who gets it and who will use it for what. But
we even talked about AI, artificial intelligence, in July. In June, we had a conference, and we talked about AI and how great it is in a creative society, but how devastating it could be in a consumer society, because everything going to be used to take jobs away. It's gonna, just you think about, like, it's going to be a total control of human population if it's in the wrong hands. And we know, like, things get in the wrong hands, and then this tool becomes not a saving grace for us.
Yes, there are so many things that we need to more conscious about. And thank you very much for raising awareness. Thank you for your work. Guys, if you're watching us and if you would like to know more about Creative Society, I posted the link. Let me bring it up one more time. So go to the creativesociety.com website and you will find the conference also there on the 4th of December. And if you're interested, I would say have an open mind. Go there, read about it, check it out. If you like, you like. As Olga said, if you don't,
if you don't like, you don't like.
It's a creative society. It's all about free decision and freedom and human life. So it's your choice. I like to raise awareness about everything going around in the world, because I want to give the choice, and as Olga said, the information to anyone to be able to choose, because that's what is missing today. So please reach out to Olga if you need some help. She's also a marketing professional. So if you have some marketing help for your society to build it bigger and build another impact economy, please do so. And I know that Olga can help you with that. And thank you very much for everyone for watching. And Olga, what would be your last message for the young and the wise? How could they be bold together?
Yeah. So first of all, we have to stop saying they or, somewhere. It's always us. It's never they. It's always myself, me, and I. That's where we start. We start with ourselves, and we have to work towards removing those boundaries, because they have been projected on us for 6,000 years in the consumer society. Like, we really have to do some work here to understand what role do I play in bridging the gap between the young and the wise. And also, the young is so awesome. They have all the energy, they have all the technology in their hand, and the wise are there to tell us what not to do, because they have learned their lessons and they have seen the life. And when we merge together, it's a beautiful thing. And every single human being is capable not of just positive change, but also is capable of changing the world. And you never know the action you take today, how it's going to reflect on our world tomorrow. So please take action, learn more, ask questions, always stay teachable, always learn, always try to understand someone else's perspective, and always feel what's right. Like, you will know right away what's right or what's wrong. We just got to tap into your sixth sense, or whatever sense it is, of that feeling of knowing that is the truth.
Thank you very much, Olga. I wish you a beautiful day in Detroit, and thank you for this interview. Thank you for also the people who are watching us, and keep on inspiring others, keep on building the creative society. I'm excited to see it in action, and stepping up on those stairs and going step by step towards really realizing it. Thank you very much, Olga, for tonight.
Thanks so much, Andrea, for having me on. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you, Olga. We
Bye.
catch up soon. Bye bye, guys. Bye, Simfong. Good night.